Welcome back, sci-fi fans, to the Science Fictionary. We're here. It's our Tuesday night free for all, so it's a little bit of a wild card as far as what we might get. If you're in the chat, which you're not now, so I'll throw this out there again in a minute, because we're starting 10 minutes late, which is totally my fault. But we are going to tonight is the night. This is a new thing I'm trying to do weekly. And I'm wide open to taking topics as long as I know what I'm talking about from the chat. So we will throw that out again if we end up with any people in the chat tonight. We're a little earlier than last week. Last week we went live a little too late and we didn't really have much going on here. But hopefully we're early enough tonight to get some people. But he doesn't look exactly like himself tonight. But David's here with me. My co-host from the Science Fictionary podcast.
Yeah, it's once again no webcam, but I did get the OBS virtual camera working this time. Or at least it's not just a tiny little dot in the center. You get a blurry picture of Ryan Gosling as my avatar.
That's one of the things. There's a handful of things with this software. It's been a really good software for us, but one of the things that I wish they would fix is the that your little avatar over there, if you're not on camera, is so tiny you can't even read it. Like if I use mine and it's the Science Fictionary logo, you can't even. It's so small on most screens you can't even read it, especially if you're on a phone watching on a cell phone.
But one could argue that I should really have just ordered a webcam. But
you know
we're budgeting. We're balling on a budget around here, and it kind of snuck up. Like, oh yeah, there's another live stream. Okay, let's see if I can get OBS working this time. And now we've got a little Tobey Maguire and a little Ryan Gosling, so I think it's okay.
Well, I know you got a budget. I know y'all are trying to live that con life with heading to. Hopefully, y'all are going to make it to Mississippi Comic Con.
Yeah, we're still in the cards to go to Mississippi.
And then we have. Did you tell me you are or are not going to make it to Celebration?
I'm not, because my best friend's getting married.
That's right.
A week after.
That's right.
In New Mexico, so and I'm in the wedding, so like can't skip that one. Yeah, I would have told him, sorry, pal, but no, I wouldn't, of course. But so I'm like, okay, well, that's where my travel budget's gonna go next year, I guess. But that's okay. We're making it work. We're doing lots of fun stuff. We're filling our time with other hobbies. My wife and I got into the One Piece trading card game recently, which is hell. I don't know if you're aware of what's happened to Pokemon lately. I don't know if I'd say lately, but over the past few years, how scalpers have ruined the hobby with card games, Pokemon being the biggest one. Actually, Logan Paul in particular started this huge wave of people chasing these expensive cards, because a few years ago, might have been 5 years ago now, Logan Paul had this really big publicity thing where he had this super expensive Charizard that he tracked down and bought from this guy. And it became this big thing and it was already a thing where people would get rare cards, but this really launched a wave of buying up, going to Target and buying every box on the shelf, and then for thousands of dollars coming home and just opening them, seeing if you can pull, and literally throwing away cards that you don't want, and just seeing if you can pull the shiny Charizard or whatever other rare card, and then selling it for a whole bunch. And
yeah, unfortunately, that seems to be something that's going on with trading cards across the board. I've seen that with some of the sports cards as well.
Oh, okay. See, I'm not into sports cards, but this Saturday we are going to a card show in Gonzales.
Okay.
And because it's $5 to get in, so like, sure, let's go check it out. I think we're only going to break our own hearts when we go there, and it's like crazy prices for all these things, but it's sports cards and it's Pokemon and it's One Piece and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is a weird one because that game is straight up pay to win. I played some Magic the Gathering with some friends recently trying to get into it, and they let me borrow some decks, and I was like, wait a minute, your deck just seems way better than mine. Like, oh yeah, well, I bought the deck that has the better cards. So it's just straight up pay to win.
Right.
So when you're playing amongst friends, many of them actually have a rule of you can use just printed cards on, like, you can just find the card online, print it on a sheet of paper, and that's the card for the deck for the sake of playing the game.
Yeah.
While if you go to like a tournament, though, it has to be an official card. But yeah, scalpers have absolutely ruined Pokemon, and they're doing the same thing to One Piece. And we're trying to get into it because obviously she's a huge fan of One Piece. I've become a big fan of One Piece recently. She wanted to get into the card game. We went to the couple of stores around us, a lot of them. So if you go online official, and I don't know how to fix it, and I am simplifying this for the sake of conversation. There's the market price, which is what they tell you should sell it for, and stores do not abide by that. And they can get in trouble if they get caught, but like, who's out here enforcing these rules? It's not like the company in Japan is sending out businessmen to each store to check what they got going on, you know?
Right.
So it's just all a big wild, wild west. And you got these people, these cards. So you know, if you're a retailer, you buy a box full of booster packs. And what you're supposed to do is sell the booster packs. Well, what it turns out, and again, I'm simplifying this, and I don't know the whole story. If anybody's going to comment like, well, actually, it works like this. From my understanding, you sell the booster packs, but actually, it is more price efficient for the retailer to just sell a scalper a box for $500 because they're willing to pay it. And then, boom, you give them that box, you get the $500, and the scalper goes, he opens up all the cards inside of it, finds the individual ones, and then he sells those individual cards for however much they're worth. Problems all around. I mean, the problem is also who the heck are buying these cards? That's what kind of enables this to happen. You get people who actually just want to play the game, who will buy the crazy cards because it helps them actually play the game. You got people who buy the crazy cards because they're thinking that in 5 years it'll be worth even more. And you got people who buy it because they're genuine collectors and they're willing to pay whatever to get this special Tinkatuff card.
Yeah.
So that's Pokemon, at least. Same thing for One Piece has been going on. But anyway, we're occupying our time with that. And
I think it's an interesting conversation. And actually, there's a new collectibles store here in Natchez and they do a lot of Pokemon, Magic the Gathering. They hold a lot of games there in the shop. I'm hoping they'll add some D&D stuff here to their stuff. I was told they were, but the Matt, the guy that runs the shop, is supposed to be doing an episode with me at some point. So it'd be interesting if we could get you in here to talk some of that stuff with him. So
I would love to, and I'd love to hear his perspective. And I don't know, he might be like, yeah, that's right, I do sell the scalper prices, and here's why I do it, because it makes sense for me to put food on the table for my family.
But the thing is
he might be a chill guy.
Well,
I don't know.
What I admire about his shop at this juncture, now we'll see, like, is he making enough money? Like, but he's way more concerned with building a community around his shop than just
that makes sense.
Making a buck, making the quick buck. So I will be curious to see kind of where they go with their shop. I'm also really curious. I would love to get Robbie back in, and I know you play Dungeons and Dragons, and I've been wanting to play for a long time. And as you recall, we were supposed to do the Science Fictionary was supposed to do a campaign with Robbie as our DM, and it just never worked out. I've never played. I really wanted to learn it as a player, but the kids are really after me to run a game, so I guess I'm going to learn it as a DM. But this thing that has happened is I got books. I got I had the DM's handbook and the player manual and all that. But recently, and I read all that, and I think I've got it. But I got the monster manual, and I got it's like Worlds and Realms or whatever book.
Mm-hmm.
I discovered something that I may have a problem, and that the Tolkien part, the Tolkien loving part of my brain is really excited about soaking up all that lore. And I've just been reading the monster manual and reading about the different worlds and realms. And so I'm going to have to do something with all that knowledge. So I guess I'm going to run a game for the kids. And then maybe one day we'll, get a game night going for the science fiction area. I'd still love for that to be a thing.
It's in the dream. I'd love to do it. I'd love to come down to your house and run a game with y'all. It's all, that'd be fun. And then also if we could, I'd love to do a game. Now there's a great online tool. It's called Roll20 that me and my friends use to play online. That I actually think makes for a pretty interesting video format if we had our live streams up and then also just recording the tabletop online simulator that is going on as we all play together online. That is an option. Do it just online over chat, or also it would be cool if we all got together and did a game night. D&D, I actually haven't played in a while. Everyone's just so busy.
Right. It takes time, but I was noticing some stuff, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds on it tonight because I didn't get a chance to really dig into it. But it looks like the people that are, it looks like the Wizards of the Coast is really doing some iffy things with their, like the D&D Beyond content, where they're wanting to start doing, pay to play seasons like video games do and stuff like that. And that's wild to me because it's like, yes, your company, specifically Gygax, had a huge, had a huge role in building tabletop gaming to what it is. But I guess what surprises me and shocks me is that they think that they think that the players need them to play.
Yeah. I think we talked about this a little bit in our Fan Expo review, because we talked about how like Fan Expo needs to remember that like we don't need them. And then also like, I think it got into, because all the D&D vendors, we were talking about like, we don't need you or any of this stuff. And that's a great point to point out. It's like, we don't need Wizards of the Coast. And like they have done, D&D Beyond in particular has done a great job getting new fans into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. I love using D&D Beyond to build characters, but they did start so I believe this is how it works, where it used to be if you like bought the book, if you bought the book physically, you could register it in your D&D Beyond account and then also get access to content. I don't believe that's the case anymore.
No, I don't think so.
I think you have to purchase it like DLC. Like you're right, they're treating it like a video game. Like D&D Beyond itself is a video game, and you have to purchase the DLC. And now they want to do this seasons format where like they're going to roll out. It's like, oh, do you want access to this new class on your D&D characters? And it's like, I could just like look online of what that class is and just get the stats and write it down on the sheet of paper. I encourage people to play with sheet and paper in front of them, not and I've gotten a lot of new people into D&D. I've DM'd a lot of games for new people. I've played a lot with new DMs, and I always encourage people, write it down on a piece of paper. D&D is a great tool to help you get started. D&D Beyond is a great tool to help you get started, make your first couple characters on there. After you kind of get the hang of it and understand the process a little bit better, grab the book. You can borrow mine and do it on paper.
Yeah.
And come up with it. I also say, I'm like, hey, talk to your DM. You don't got to follow these rules strictly. Like, oh, you want your character to be somebody who does this very specific thing and it doesn't really fit any of the classes. It's like, well, let's work together and see what we can make happen. And maybe we can go in and say, oh, well, you want that special feat that you're not supposed to have access to until level 10. Well, but it fits your character to have it. Well, let's make a compromise where you lose this many stat points or whatever. Like, you don't have to play by their rules necessarily.
Right.
And we don't need you, Wizards of the Coast. And also, there's plenty of fan-made campaigns.
Well, that's the thing. There's so much material out there. At your fingers, so many YouTube videos. And I mean, at the end of the day, you need some dice and your imagination. And some friends. And you can play. And so it's
loose leaf paper helps.
Yeah.
And really, yeah, you're exactly right. Like the dice, you need some dice. I can't think of anything. You do need some dice. That's the only thing that I can think of. You have to purchase.
Yeah,
is some dice. And then at least somebody who knows the rules. Now, of course, it's great to have a company producing books, official good books, and when they put out
absolutely
books, they're of high quality, much better quality than you're going to get from a random online who made up his own campaign and posted it for free. And it's great to have new content, new classes and backgrounds and races and everything. But you're also right that like there's so much material that it could sustain us for 100 years without us ever having to make a new one.
Right. I guess, it's one of those things. It's like it's just looking at it from a business standpoint. It's like if you get too greedy, someone's just going to step in and fill the void.
Yeah, and there are.
It's like look at baseball. I mean, you just went to a Savannah Bananas game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. Like, look what they've done. Baseball got greedy. Major League Baseball has become insanely greedy.
Yeah,
and the Savannah Bananas or the Banana Ball League is selling out the largest venues in the country multiple days in a row sometimes. And their whole mission is fan first.
Yeah, and I got really. I didn't know anything about Banana Ball. I didn't know. I mean, I've seen the TikToks, but I didn't care. And then my mother-in-law was like, "Hey, I won the little lottery where you get to buy tickets for Banana Ball. They're at the Superdome. Let's go." I'm like, "Okay, great." So we go, and I have a really, really great time. It was super fun. And the whole time you walk in, they're like, the show starts. Like they're like, the game doesn't start till 3. The game doesn't start till 3:30. The show started at 2, and it's a show every second. It's about entertainment, and it's about fans first, and it's about and they're doing all these charities and stuff like that. And they bring out multiple fans onto the field for multiple different segments and things like that. A really awesome moment. We were in New Orleans in the Superdome where the New Orleans Saints play. They brought out Drew Brees, New Orleans Saints legend. That was super awesome. The crowd went insane. 70,000 people, by the way, in the Superdome. So you're right. Like they're selling out the biggest things in the world, and their whole thing is fan first. And they only started playing. The Banana Ball League started 6 years ago. It's absolutely insane growth. So so I started listening to podcasts of this guy Jesse Cole who made it, and I'm like, this guy's a freaking genius. And what's his whole thing? It's fans first.
And his whole thing, his whole thing is exactly what Walt Disney built Disney World to be.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And what these companies did, and to bring it back to the D&D, there are dozens of new tabletop games that are getting more and more popular.
Yeah.
D&D-esque games, role-playing games that are getting very, very popular that can easily take the throne in a few years if things get too bad or too rough. Also, you got to remember, like a lot of people, Stranger Things got a lot of people into the hobby.
It did.
And Stranger Things really, really boosted D&D's notoriety. The fans could easily just stop and just do something else. There's a million hobbies to do right now. I'm discovering, I just got into Pokemon, playing the games. Never played Pokemon before in my life, and now I'm like, oh my god, I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of stuff to do now that I can do. And by the way, because Nintendo's a greedy freaking company, and any game they put on the Switch, they never lower the price for. So even though, Let's Go Pikachu came out at this point almost 10 years ago,
right?
It's still like a full price game on the Switch. I'm not going to buy it, but you know what? There's a lot of emulators online to play the much better classic Pokemon games because they never remade. Now finally they ported over Fire Red and Leaf Green, which were remakes of the original. So they made the original, and then in like the early 2000s, they remake the original and call it Fire Red and Leaf Green. And those are considered like some of the best. Finally, now 20 years later, they have ported that onto the Switch, so you can play it on the Switch. So that's why I'm like, I'll give that a try. Cool. I'll give it a try, and it's only $20 to get it. Okay. So it's like, here's an example of Nintendo for once not being the most greedy company you've ever heard of in your life. And now Pokemon has blown up. It's everywhere on social media. People are playing Fire Red and Leaf Green for the first time, like me, and are getting into it. And I'm honestly probably about to give Nintendo a lot of money on Pokemon stuff because they were like, here's an entry way to get into it. Now, it's still greedy that I don't know if you know how Pokemon works. It's 2 games.
Okay.
And the idea is that each game, every time they release a game, they release 2 versions. Like you have Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, Ruby and Pearl, or Ruby and Sapphire, Scarlet and Violet. And the idea is that each game has a few Pokemon that are exclusive to that game.
Gotcha. I knew about the different colors, but I had no idea what it was about.
So you have to so what me and my wife did is she got Leaf Green, I got Fire Red. And so when she goes and catches her Sandshrew, she caught 2 so she could send me 1 in the trading system.
Mm.
But the idea is, it's like from the very beginning, the first Pokemon game, they were like, how about we release 2? They were doing that from the beginning, Red and Blue. Okay. Let's release 2 of them, so you have to buy 2 copies of the game in order to get every Pokemon. So they're extremely greedy. But anyway, the point, my point was, there's a million things to do. I could leave D&D and I would miss it, but me and my friends have been playing a lot of other games together to fill our time that kind of are scratching still the same itch. They're really into Magic the Gathering, which is scratching that fantasy itch. Yeah. We're all really into Pokemon. We're all been playing a lot of some multiplayer games that are RPGs that are scratch. So yeah, companies need to realize that there's options. So you do fan first. Banana Ball did that, and hopefully Wizards of the Coast does that. And also, fans are these companies' only resource.
100%.
And you have to keep making new ones, because if they're thinking long-term as a company, 100 years from now, we're all going to be dead. Everyone watching this video, 100 years from now, we're probably going to be dead. So then what are these companies that are still around going to do? They need new fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I've thought about that a lot, and specifically with Disney, and how they are not making enough new children fans, especially with stuff like Star Wars.
Right.
Where Star Wars could very easily, within 50 years, be a nothing property.
And that's the thing. And I think they're making some good moves right now with the property. But, the only thing, as much as I love Andor, Andor is, especially season 2, is one of the greatest things ever put on television.
Mm-hmm.
But it's certainly not going to appeal to kids. It's not for kids. And it's going to go over most kids' heads. But then you get something like Skeleton Crew that really was everything that George Lucas wanted Star Wars to be. But unfortunately, because there's so much bad faith in the brand right now, that it largely went overlooked.
They did a real bad job promoting that thing.
They did.
It really got shoved under the rug. Even the Mandalorian Grogu, it's like they had a Super Bowl trailer and like nobody's talking about that movie. Nobody, and it's because season 3 left such a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. I think
from what I gather is that a lot of people just aren't coming back because season 3 and.
Even Book of Boba Fett also actually, I think, really hurt things.
Yeah, no, that's true too. And I think they did a lot in the trailers to try to say, look, season 3 was like a side quest, and now we're going back to what the Mandalorian was all about. But maybe it's too little too late. I'll be curious to see what it does. I've talked about this a good bit. It's still Jon Favreau. I think it's going to be a super exciting movie. It's not the movie that's going to put Star Wars back on top. It's just not.
No,
but it also had a low enough budget that it should make money, which is a plus at this point.
I agree. Jon Favreau he's not my favorite director of all time, but he made my favorite movie of all time. Weird how that works, but like there's a director. Jon Favreau's made some flops. But he also made Chef, which is my favorite movie of all time.
No, I love that movie.
And Iron Man and Elf and except so like he is an incredible director. My favorite director might be Sam Raimi. I'm on a Sam Raimi high because I got to go see Send Help.
Okay.
Which we talked about, me and the Dingus Den talked about on the last show.
Right.
Like we wanted to go see it. I got to go see it. It is fantastic.
That's
You're
awesome.
gonna love it. It's not a family movie, so don't make the trip.
Yeah.
But as soon as it comes out, I highly recommend you and Marisha watching it. Actually, I don't know how Marisha does with the kind of Sam Raimi gore that's up in there.
Yeah, that's not really her thing.
Okay. Maybe you just take a night, grab a beer, and watch it. I was wondering, I'm like, okay, this is a movie about two people stranded on an island. How is Sam Raimi gonna Raimi this up? And oh boy, he does in a wonderful way. I mean, he had a great script. Somebody came to him with a great idea. Somebody just had this really cool idea for this island that had a lot of twists and turns, and these two people stuck, and Raimi got to really Raimi it up. I'm not going to spoil anything because I really highly recommend you watching this movie, but there's a lot of great twists, a lot of very funny moments, a lot of really cool moments, a lot of great Sam Raimi like shots. Like there's a shot where I'm like, did he strap the camera to the 2x4 like the Evil Dead days? Because it looks like it.
Yeah.
And there's even great spots in the beginning of the movie before they make it to the island that felt like I was watching a Sam Raimi movie where like he did something incredible, which is he made Rachel McAdams unattractive. Because she's playing this character that's supposed to be very off-putting and very like frumpy is the word that I think is used in the movie.
Okay.
But Rachel McAdams is gorgeous, right? So like how you do that? But the way that he shoots his scenes where he zoomed in really close on her face and you see her chin hairs and there's that little piece of tuna fish stuck on the side of her lip that's really gross, and like the way that she breathes and everything. Like also Rachel McAdams herself did a freaking phenomenal job in this movie. And slowly as she gets on the island, one of the themes is that she's a fan of, she's a survivor. She loves to go outdoors. She gets trapped on the island, kind of her natural habitat out of the office. She starts like glowing and like starting to look really, really beautiful, while this guy who was like her boss, who was this is all in the trailers, who's like her boss, who's a jerk, who's like a fancy businessman, he's stuck on the island. He starts looking like crap. That's Dylan O'Brien. He also does a fantastic job. And there's really great like Raimi shots of his face like starting to freak out, and there's a time lapse going on of he's stuck on the island and he's like, I can do this all on my own. I don't need your help. But he's just in the sun with it beating down on him, and you see the sunburn swelling up on his face, and he looks gross, and he starts screaming and going crazy. And there's some great hunting. So like there's a scene where they hunt a boar. All right.
Okay.
That's obvious. So that's where Raimi gets to put in some of his Raimi moments, in terms of like action and Evil Dead. I did see it with my friend, and I was like, what if the movie like the Necronomicon washes up on the beach and this is actually secretly an Evil Dead movie? That doesn't happen, but that would have been funny because they had it's like, wouldn't that be great? Because it's so Sam Raimi. I don't even know how I got here. Send Help's great. Go see it. See it when it comes out on streaming. It's word of mouth. It's made some good money. Hopefully it doesn't need a sequel. I'm not saying like hope it gets a sequel, but hopefully it's like, let Sam Raimi make more movies.
Yeah, for sure. And
this was fantastic.
I think there's a lot of really good looking stuff in the theaters this year. So I'm excited for that. I guess we're going to be making a lot more drives out of town, I guess, starting this weekend, because I guess we get Project Hail Mary this weekend.
Yeah. Got to see Project Hail Mary.
And then I got to decide how bad I want to go see Mummy Returns.
Is that back in theaters?
On the 27th, The Mummy Returns is going to be back in theaters. The 25th anniversary.
What's the company that does cinema? Not Fanatics. That's the company. Fanatics is the company that does like all the sports merch, and they really suck, and everybody hates them.
Yes.
It's not Fandango. That was a company that did.
Are you trying to think of Fathom Events?
Fathom. That's what yes. Thank you. It was the F. Is that a Fathom Events thing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
they're great. They're great. Yeah, that's cool. And then end of the year is really loaded. Look, we can segue.
Yeah,
Dune. We got a Dune 3 trailer.
I mean, I don't have, this is the first trailer. It didn't tell us a whole lot, but I definitely want to talk about it here for a minute. You know, everybody's talking about the Odyssey and it's going to be this, you know, big cinematic thing. Mm-hmm. Gosh, man.
I don't think it's going to hold a candle to Dune 3.
I don't either. And even if it's gorgeous, I mean, those shots in that trailer,
looks even better.
Yeah.
Looks even better than Dune 2. And Dune 2 is maybe one of the best looking movies ever made.
Oh, for sure.
And this looks...
Dune Part 1 and 2 is one of the greatest achievements for science fiction on the big screen. Mm-hmm. It's, and man, I'm so ready for this third one.
Now, I did find it very... So they released these posters, all the posters along with the trailer, and there's the one with Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
And she's like covered in like lotion.
Caked in mud or clay or yeah.
And people are like, what's going on here? And it's like, hi, I read Dune Messiah. I also don't know what's going on here. I got no clue. Right. I haven't read Dune Messiah, but I saw people saying that. I have not had... I listened to the audiobook of the first Dune, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was incredible. I need to take a break from Dune, and I never got back around to Dune Messiah, which I do want to. I mean, you've said it's great, but I think you've questioned before, like, how do you turn Dune Messiah into a movie? I think you've said things before like that, right?
Yeah, no, it's certainly going to be a challenge. Like, as much as the first book has always been considered sort of unadaptable, beyond that, I don't even know. I mean, it's got a lot of challenges, but I've got a lot of faith in what I've seen. I'm not sure what's with the Florence Pugh look there. I mean, you know, it could be as simple as, you know, she is royalty. It could be as simple as, you know, people do use mud and clay like that for, you know, cleansing properties. And it may just be that they did that in the show and it looks amazing as a still. So,
who knows? Yeah.
You know, I don't know that it has to mean some big thing because they put it in there, because everybody's going, well, that's not in the book. And I'm like, well, I don't know that it necessarily has to be in the book. They did release other shots of her too, and she looks incredible.
Yeah. Robert Pattinson looks awesome. Of course, Duncan Idaho's back. That's blowing a lot of people's minds who didn't know that was going to be a thing. And I remember,
go ahead.
Jason Momoa got some flack for spoiling that he's back, that he's like in the third movie.
Yeah,
because he's like, no, we're filming Dune 3. Like, what? How? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's just how it is. Wait till you know. Before I knew about it, I remember Marisha was like, oh, wait till you know. Because whenever we were reviewing the first book, I said, I love Duncan Idaho. Really sucks that they killed him off. And I remember Marisha laughed at me. So...
yeah, and I've seen a lot of people. I saw people going, "Oh, Denis Villeneuve's just getting greedy and bringing back his star power," and I'm like, first of all, he's got Florence Pugh and Timothée Chalamet. He doesn't really need more star power at this juncture. Yeah. But yeah, like I saw, you know, people going, "Oh, they're just getting greedy," and it's like, no, this is
a big deal.
Yeah.
I think I saw a lot of funny tweets. I don't know what this means, but it was like, wait till they get to Dune 5 and the whole movie is just Duncan Idaho having a conversation with a giant worm lady. And I was like, what the heck does that mean? Do you get it?
Yeah, more or less. It gets okay. It gets weird. It gets weird. The further you go in the Dune books, the sort of the weirder it gets.
Well, this looks good. This movie looks amazing.
Yeah, and I think this will be... I think this is... You know, Denis Villeneuve initially said he was going to do the first two and walk away. Then he decided he wanted to do the third one. I think this is it. And I don't know that they necessarily set out to make the ones beyond this, because I think they just may get too weird for your
do you think
your casual audience.
you can end this movie and it come to a satisfying ending of the story.
I think some of the problem is that the ending's not necessarily satisfactory.
Okay. In the book.
I think that the story is a little more tragic than I think some people may be prepared for.
Yeah, I've heard that come up a lot actually, of like, wait till you find out what all the things, what it really means to be Lisa Algi. Like, wait till you find out.
Now there are things that people misunderstand. There, I see a lot of what people don't understand is that Paul was the villain of Dune 2. It's like, no, you're misunderstanding. No. You're misunderstanding what the story is about.
Mm-hmm.
The story is about trying to manipulate destiny and create your own, basically create your own Messiah. That's what the story's about.
And then the really interesting part that comes from that's what the story's about. But then what makes it worth reading, in my opinion, is Paul and the people around him and like how they feel. Like, one of the best parts of Dune for me, again, I have not read Messiah. I vaguely know what Messiah is about. I'm aware just from being a nerd of what kind of happens in Messiah. Beyond that, I don't know. One of the best parts of the first Dune book was the different people in his life viewing Paul differently as he becomes Lisa Algi. I'm forgetting. There's so many names. The leader of the native people, played by Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. Oh my God. It's almost 9 o'clock. I'm just tired. I'm forgetting everybody's names. I remember that.
Well, I'm terrible with names anyway.
The character. You love Dune, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Stilgar.
Stilgar, yeah, Stilgar. How Stilgar starts as like a trusted friend and mentor for Paul, and sort of like slowly becomes just this fanatic for him, and how it kind of like Paul doesn't really like that right. happens. And you have him, and then you have Gurney
Halleck.
Halleck, who is like trying to keep Paul kind of straight and kind of keep his head on straight as this is all happening. You have his relationship with his mother turn into just like almost like a business transaction type thing.
Yeah,
you got going on where she has this job to do and he has this job to do, and of course the interesting stuff where he's in love with Chani, but he has to marry the princess for the politics of it all, and his mother kind of stepping in and being like, that is our job, Chani, that we will be there, but we will never be it's like how all this crap that Paul is forced into because of the people forcing and manipulating destiny and making their Messiah, and Paul is not naturally that, no matter how all the genetic breeding and stuff like that was done by the Bene Gesserit, but the Bene Gesserit. Paul is just a guy at least in the first game. That's how I interpret it. But then all this stuff kind of, he has to become more than that, and that really kind of sucks.
Yeah, he doesn't want to. He's prepared to refuse this path that's in front of him. Like, until destiny kind of puts up a roadblock and says, "Look, if you don't do it, then everything goes to hell."
Yeah, and he has to. Like, he just wanted, and he loved his father, and he wanted to he was prepared to be, in charge in the same capacity as father was. And then this is my interpretation of reading the book, and somebody who's not read it multiple times and has not been a fan for nearly as long as you have, Andrew, or others, but this is just my sort of interpretation, is like, his father is killed. He wants revenge.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to avenge his father and his house and the people that were killed, and Duncan and the people that he cares about. He grows to care about the people of Arrakis, but like all this other stuff that comes along with it of like basically becoming king of the world.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. I did not sign up for this, but it's sort of what has to happen. It's sort of put in front of them, and that's interesting. And I think Dune Messiah is going to be interesting. I don't know how it's going to be received if it goes the way of the book.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I think I'll like it.
I think it's going to be really, really good, and I think we're going to get a lot of we're going to get new characters here. Obviously, Anya Taylor-Joy is going to going to be in this one, which I mean, hell of a year she's having right now. She's of course got that coming up, and Super Mario Galaxy coming up, and was just apparently cast in The Hunt for Gollum. So.
Oh, yeah, she gonna play Gollum?
Yeah, I think so. I think Gollum's. I think she's playing Gollum's mother.
Wait, actually?
No, that's
okay. I thought, wait, are we getting a flashback?
It's very likely she's playing It's very likely that she's playing Arwen. That's the.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I like that. Yeah, she's having a great run the past few years. She did The Menu, Furiosa. Yeah, she's great, and that's awesome. I think her character gets weird. This is going to be quite the role for her, and I'm excited to see. If there's some scenes they cut.
Yeah.
Just based on what I know about Dune. Again, based on what I haven't read it. Based on what I know about Dune Messiah, it's like, are they going to do all that? Let's see. Let's find out. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting to jump 17 years ahead. I could imagine the general audience being annoyed about that. I think they'll do it right. I think it'll be good. But I could imagine like a general audience walking in. It's like, wait, 17 years later, what?
I hope that we get a little bit of exposition for the in-between, because I think that some of the more casual fans may be a little lost on what has transpired in that 17 years, especially since we see in this trailer, we see Paul and Shani talking about the name of their child.
Yeah.
And, we left off with them not necessarily doing so hot.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, wait, are they even going to have children, or is Shani just going to be a sex slave for him for eternity? Is that what was kind of implied at the end of that movie?
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, a lot of that was done right, except that they didn't give you the pieces to know. They didn't give you the pieces for the audience to understand that Paul sees that this marriage to, the whole line in the book about, being concubines, but history will call us wives. This, line, involving Chani, and so I don't think a lot of people understood, and of course there's a lot of real world, not these days, but once upon a time of, these political marriages don't mean much, as far that they're strictly political. And that's what.
I don't remember if the movie portrayed it well, but in the book, it was made very clear from Paul that he's marrying the princess, but like he will never love her. He will never see her as anything other than a political tool.
I think in the movie, I think that they conveyed that to the audience from Paul's perspective, but Paul never conveyed that to Chani.
Right. Yeah. In the book, he has a conversation with Chani about it.
Yeah.
I think, right? And
I believe so. I think so. I might be.
I'm pretty sure.
I might be melding together the book and the old limited series, the show. I might be melding some things together, but
it's and these are kind of seem like small details, but with a story as kind of complex as Dune, I do think it kind of matters.
Yeah.
In the book, I walked away kind of feeling bad for the princess.
Yes.
While in the movie, I'm all my sympathies on Chani.
Right. They definitely flipped that.
Okay, I'm glad that makes sense what I'm saying. Like, because in the book, it's like, oh, that this poor princess who doesn't even seem like that
Yeah,
bad of a person.
she's not, and she becomes a bargaining chip.
Yeah, and I think Florence Pugh is going to do great in this role.
I do too.
I'm excited to see what they do with it, and also I think that the movie looks great. It's going to be a great movie,
and I love the kind of the last line in the trailer when Paul's talking to his mother and says, "What would my father have done?" And she, your father never started a war.
Yeah, yeah. Lady Jessica is a frustrating character for me, but in a good way.
Right.
Because she's so complicated, and actually, I think she's one of the more interesting characters.
Yeah.
In the book, and it's like you're not because she's not just the protagonist's mother. Like she's, yeah, I don't know. I think Rebecca Ferguson's really great. I think this movie is going to be amazing. Now the question is, do I go see that or Doomsday first? I don't know. I'd like to see a Doomsday trailer. We're beginning Spider-Man clips and maybe the worst marketing rollout of all time.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. I know the trailer's dropping tomorrow, but I'm not sure what's with the marketing campaign today. It seems kind of weird, and it seems weird right up there with the Mandalorian and Grogu Clydesdale beer commercial they ran during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, this is like not generating any hype. It is actually, I saw someone said this and I agree because I was doing it. It's like only releasing these little 2-second clips. It means that I just watch that same 2-second clip over and over again and start analyzing how bad it kind of looks.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, wait, that shot doesn't really work. And why are his arms moving like that? And physically, that doesn't really make sense. Yeah. Like there's this one specific where it looks like what I think is happening is he just lashed onto the Hulk and the Hulk just pulled him and threw him, but then it cuts in such a weird way that actually really doesn't look good. And then like the scene where the camera is inside of his mask and you see there's like 2 inches of space between his eyes and the eyelid of the mask. Like that doesn't make any sense because it's supposed to be that it's just a pull over because, well, previously, and I think this was kind of finally established with the Stark suit. It was like a shell or whatever, like a suit. But now, like, there's all these shots of him pulling the mask down over his face, and it's supposed to just be cloth. But apparently, there's like 2 inches of space floating in front of his face. That doesn't make any sense,
right?
And then, like, you get like a quick second where you see John Bernthal, and it's like, okay, but how about you just release the trailer like you should have done 2 months ago? By the way,
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't drop the trailer today unless they just didn't want to, were worried. And the thing is like if they were seriously concerned about being overshadowed by Dune, it's like, it's freaking Spider-Man, y'all.
Yeah, you're going to be fine.
Like nothing's going to, like you release a Spider-Man trailer and it's going to overshadow whatever else is out there. And of course, I'm sure Sony's in charge of the trailer drop, not Marvel, because Kevin Feige was notorious for dropping trailers on top of other properties.
Yeah, he did not give a crap.
No,
and does not. It's like short. Like the biggest one was I remember when he dropped the Civil War trailer the same day as the Batman versus Superman trailer dropped.
Oh yeah, yep.
And he was like, "Oh, you got one where 2 superheroes are fighting? Well, I got one where a bunch of superheroes are fighting.
Right?
Let's do this." They released on the same day. Actually, they released the same weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Batman v Superman and Civil War, and I remember being like, "Well, there's no way that Batman v Superman doesn't win, right?"
Yeah.
And then they got absolutely smoked. And I walked out. The first one I went to see first, Batman v Superman. I was like, "That's the first one we're going to go see." So we went and saw that first, and I walked out, and I was like, "Shit, this sucks." I remember running into my friend at the theater. He goes, "Dude, hey, what's up? Did you like the movie?" And I go, "It was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life." Anyway, Spider-Man. It's just a really dumb marketing scheme, I think. It's not building hype. Nobody's going, oh my God, I can't wait for the trailer to drop tomorrow. It just said, it would have been better if they said, hey guys, trailer tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then not do the clips. I think it's dumb.
It's a weird move, and I don't know, like,
Now, what's worse, doing this or doing the releasing a different trailer every week for Doomsday while Avatar was in theaters?
Yeah.
Because that was insane as well.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy move.
Worse.
Like,
this
is worse. Overall, I liked that. I just, it's a bit of a weird way to
this
go
is
at
worse.
it.
Because the way they did the Avengers thing, I at least walked out of Avatar and texted you and said, oh my God, I got to see the X-Men trailer for Doomsday.
Right.
It at least made that happen.
No, I liked those trailers.
Yeah.
You know, the first three, the order they released them in, little strange to me because I felt like they released the weakest one last.
Which one? The Fantastic Four?
The Fantastic Four and Wakanda.
Yeah, that was the weakest one.
And it's not like bad. I mean, I'm excited to see those characters, but like, I don't know. I just felt like it was the weakest. I felt like they should have dropped the Captain America one last.
I agree. 100% they should have. That Captain America one did look like an Ozempic commercial, though. Like I saw him put like the generic music of like, and then like the doctor's like, talk to your doctor about and it's him holding his baby or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's what that is. But
that's funny.
So what am I? I'm probably gonna see. I'm gonna see Avengers Doomsday. I might pull a Doomsday. I might get some friends and say we're doubling up, and we're gonna be at the theater for probably 10 hours straight.
I suspect what I will do, because I don't know what the runtime on either one of them is going to be. I don't know. We probably don't know that info yet, but I'm sure they're long. I'm sure both long. So I fully expect that what I will do is get up and drive to Baton Rouge on Saturday morning, and I will go watch one, and then I will go to lunch or go to dinner, and then come back and watch the other.
Do we know, are they doing all of Messiah in this movie? Or is it going to be a surprise? Is it going to end halfway through and we're going to go, oh, they're making part 4 and it's the other half of Dune Messiah?
I think the fact that they're intentionally not calling it Messiah, I'm wondering what they're going to do. I'm wondering if it's just going to be part of Messiah or if they're going to start looping a little bit of info from Children of Dune into the mix. I'm really not sure. I do feel like this is going to be intended to be the finale.
Okay. You think that this is... Now, I mean, they might end... What if they pull a Marvel and it ends like at a spot you don't expect, then it comes like Paul Atreides will return and Dune part 4. I mean, I don't know. Do you think they could split? Is Messiah a book you could split into 2 the way they did Dune 1? Because I think they pretty perfectly did that in the first 2 Dune movies.
I think so. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't read Messiah recently enough to know where a good split would be.
Right, because Dune 1 has the perfect split.
Yes. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure where you would split Messiah. I mean, they could certainly do it. Villeneuve has insisted that this is it for him. So
I don't want to see anybody else come in and do now. They're going to make more Dune stuff, you know. And wasn't the show a pretty big success?
It was actually for a sci-fi series.
Yeah, so I think they're almost certainly going to make.
It was good enough that I bought. I mean, I own the DVDs. Like, you know, I enjoyed it enough that has maintained a spot on my shelf all this time.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did like a Duncan, Idaho series.
So Kevin J. Anderson and what's his name? I'm trying to look to see if I see the book. Yeah. So there's a whole series of these. Brian Herbert, Kevin Herbert's son, and Kevin J. Anderson. So this is a prequel about Leto.
I was actually about to say, like, what if they do? They could do a Leto thing.
Yeah, well, the books exist and they're good.
They could shave Oscar Isaac's beard and then just call it. I don't know how young he gets in those books, but you do anything set before the first movie.
Oscar Isaac could certainly play some of it, and then you might need a younger person to play some scenes.
Okay.
But I think that really but these are I mean, it's Kevin J. Anderson with Brian Herbert's guidance through the lore. So I mean, they're fantastic books.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did some. What was the TV series? Was that based off of a particular book?
The are you talking about the
it was the one about the Bene Gesserit.
Oh, yes. So that is based on some, I'm going to forget which books that info comes from. And I can't actually see my books from here. So
okay.
That but that is, they did pull from the lore. Now they made some tweaks and changes, and I think you had to make it work. But yeah, all that comes from the Dune Legendarium.
Okay.
And that show's fantastic.
Yeah, right. And I was wondering, like, could they just make up their own Dune? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they found some way to bring back Dave Bautista, Austin Butler, something like about the Harkonnen family or something, to make another series just to keep it going, because I think that show made them, well, it was a big success, and these movies have been huge successes, and I think Denis Villeneuve is right for being like, I'm done, like, we're good, let's go do something else. These are the three movies that, and this is it. Honestly, if you had ended it with Dune 1, I think that would have been a satisfying ending for a movie. Yeah, I would have been happy with that. I would have walked away with that. And then if you're a big fan of those movies, you can go read the books and see what happens next. I think it took a lot of arm pulling to get Denny to come back to do this third one, but I think they're going to do something to keep it going. It's making them too much money right now until inevitably they have a show that people stop caring about, and then they say, okay, fine, we're done.
So Dune Prophecy, the Dune Prophecy show is based on Sisterhood of Dune, which is one of the Kevin J. Anderson books.
Okay, well then, yeah, that's very likely. I think, honestly, that sounds like a great idea. A Leto prequel series. Mm-hmm. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think you can do a lot with that.
Even if you cast just a brand new actor to do the whole thing, and it's a younger one, I still think that his character was so, for the general audience, was like so loved in that first movie. I think I think he was really well received in that movie, and especially if Lady Jessica's in it. I'm assuming she's in those books. She's a character. Yeah. So there's a lot you could do there. Oh, Gurney Halleck, I'm sure is in those books. So
yeah, and then there's they also did a House Harkonnen book, and they even did a story about the Machine Crusade, like way before. So
that's cool. That's cool.
So there's tons and tons of stuff, and that's all on top of the stuff that that was written originally.
Yeah.
By Brian Herbert.
Right. So there's stuff they can do, even if they don't continue Paul's story. I wouldn't be surprised if they decide, hey, we're going to make more Dune movies without you, Denny. I don't know if Timothée Chalamet would keep doing it. He's very much like
I said Brian. I should have said Frank Herbert.
Oh yeah, right. I know. I got you. It went over my head, but well,
I got to correct it because I got some. The curse of getting more viewers as I get more people want to argue with me in the.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. Find any, but hey, that's engagement. Let them.
Oh, that's engagement. I will argue with you all day in the chat.
Purposely make mistakes here. I wouldn't be surprised if Timothée Chalamet was, even if they're like, hey, we want to make a fourth Dune movie. If he was like, no, I'm done, because he is very much like full on, I am trying to become the greatest actor on the planet, which I really kind of respect about him.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like he's killing it. I mean, these movies are obviously taking a lot of time from him, but also, Denis Villeneuve is I don't know. I just don't know enough about his personality to know, like, he's making some of the most beautiful movies ever made,
Mm-hmm.
genre film or not. I mean, he's making gorgeous movies here. So, like, he can stay and he can keep making these, but I suspect that he, at this stage of his career, would like to move on and do other things.
I suspect too. So like, even if he's not coming back, but they still keep making the Dune movies, and they're like, fine, we'll just get a different director. Well,
Yeah.
you'd probably have to hire a different Paul too.
Yeah.
And then probably a different Chaney, because I bet Zendaya is like, I don't need this. Like,
Right.
I'm good. But yeah, no, Denis Villeneuve, yeah, because he made Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
What does he make? So he made Blade Runner, then went straight into these Dune movies. So it's like he's probably sick of sci-fi at this point, because
Yeah,
he did Arrival, Blade Runner, then these Dune movies. He probably wants to do something else.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, unless sci-fi is his jam. I just don't know.
Maybe, but I mean, like,
Because
he
for a long time, everybody was wanting him to make a Star Wars movie, but like, I don't know what a Denis Villeneuve, like, is a Denis Villeneuve Star Wars too highbrow? Like, I think you need just the right story, and I don't know what that would be.
Well, I'm looking.
But
It
like,
looks like it looks like he's signed on to direct a movie based on the science fiction novel Rendezvous with Rama.
okay,
So that's set to come out in next year.
gotcha.
So I don't know if he's already actually started directing that. It must be if it's about to come out next year. But so the next thing he's doing is maybe you're right. Sci-fi just might be his thing.
Well, he's done 4 sci-fi movies in a row, 5 counting Dune Part 3.
Right, and then 6 once he does his Rendezvous with Rama, which
Right.
I've never heard of, but it's a Arthur Clarke science fiction novel.
Yep.
So that's interesting. And then before that, he had done Arrival, but then before that, he did like Sicario and Prisoners, which are like police dramas.
Right. It's a pretty big swing, but
Pretty big swing, yeah. And those movies are great as well.
they are.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to go back to that at some point.
For sure.
Or just even if he stays in sci-fi, it's like I think he might have had enough of sand.
We can send him to Tatooine next.
Send him to there you go. Yeah, that would be the Star Wars.
Now, there was all this talk. I don't remember the guy. It was the guy that did the last Indiana Jones movie. I'm going to totally blank on his name. Was supposed to be doing a like Jedi Origins movie.
Like old Republic?
Like, well, yeah, I mean before the Republic, like when the first Jedi. And
James
Mangold was supposed to be doing that. I kind of hear it's been scrapped. Now that's the kind of story that I think you could do some really cool stuff. Somebody like Denis Villeneuve could do some really cool stuff with.
That would be cool. I would like that. James Mangold, I'd love if he directed a Star Wars movie.
Well, he's supposed to be doing these like this old Republic stuff, but I'm just not sure. Lucasfilm, Kathy Kennedy's finally gone, and we have new leadership, and I don't know. I think it's yet to be seen. I think we're going to finally, under new leadership, get some clarification of the path of like what's actually getting made and what's not. This whole thing where we've got these things that float around out there for years and we're going, is this still getting made? Is complete nonsense. So hopefully we're going to get some clarification on some of that.
It was very funny when she left and it's like, maybe she can come do Star Trek. And I'm like, I'll take it. I will take it over whatever they've been doing over there, because Star Trek Academy is by far the worst Star Trek show that
it
has
is
ever been
absolutely wild to me. It reached a point of bad where we're the first time in something like 10 years that there is nothing Star Trek in production.
Wow. Yeah, know what? It's so bad that like people are like, oh man, Enterprise was pretty good actually. Like, there was like, Enterprise was the worst thing.
Yeah, I didn't like it for a long time. Enterprise was like the bottom of the barrel for me for Trek and for most people.
Now it's a case.
And now it's like, man, I would love to have another one of those.
I actually have a pitch for Star. I love Star Trek, and I'm shoehorning this in a little bit, but I have my pitch. You know how you revitalize Star Trek? Finish Enterprise.
Yeah.
Just bring back Scott Bakula, science fiction royalty, right? Bring him back. Set it 20 years later and say, hey, it's 20 years since we've seen the Enterprise, because you know he's older now, and it's like, what's going on? Oh, well, we know what you do. You finish the temporal time war, the temporal Cold War, which I think they touched on again in Discovery. I believe they ended up playing with that a little bit again, but you really finish it. Bring back Enterprise.
You know how they could.
That is the way to revive. That is the way to save Star Trek.
You want to know another way you could have saved Star Trek is if you could go back in time and stop whoever turned Seth MacFarlane down.
Yeah, yeah.
On the topic of this stuff, Seth MacFarlane has confirmed season 4 of The Orville is written.
That's awesome, dude. That he made Ted, and it is super successful.
Yeah,
like the show he's doing, like all signs point to Seth MacFarlane makes successful money-making TV shows.
Right. But it's like, I don't know. I think part of the problem is I just don't know. Well, one, clearly they had a different vision for Star Trek over there at Paramount. Mm-hmm. But, you know, at the same time, like I understand people that were not willing to give, you know, that looked at Seth MacFarlane and went, oh, really? You want to make a Star Trek? Like we've seen Family Guy.
Yeah.
And so I kind of understand, you know, how it got turned down, but I don't understand, like, if Seth MacFarlane turned around now and went to a studio and said, hey, I want to make this thing, this more serious thing, I would hope somebody would give him a shot.
They'd have to, because, I mean, Ted's huge, and has been a huge success.
Yeah. And the Orville was very successful.
Orville was very successful. I don't know how you don't like the Ted show is genuinely very good. Uh-oh, I'm lagging.
Gosh. Got kicked off my own stream there.
Uh-oh.
Right. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. On my end, just lagged out, and I just clicked leave.
It kicked me off of the stream. I mean, it didn't kick me like out of the lobby, but it kicked me off.
Oh.
So I don't know what happened.
Well, the thing at the top says live and recording still. So
yeah, no, we're still going. So we'll keep
awesome.
going. So I do have one more topic that we need to touch on before we get out of here, and that's and I've talked about it a little bit, but I didn't go in depth when I wanted to jump on it Sunday night just to talk about it while it was fresh. But I only did like 10 minutes max. I don't even know if I went that long. Firefly's coming back. You know,
well, maybe.
Well, maybe that's the other side of this is everybody screaming Firefly's back, but they haven't actually sold their pilot yet.
Yeah. This was quite the roller coaster that I went on with this. So, you know, I love Nathan Fillion, and I love Firefly. I watched Firefly famously for the podcast, and that's one of our better series. I highly recommend going back and listening to. Just that David watches Firefly for the first time, and then we all talk about it. And there have been talks for years about a Firefly revival. There have been comics that were going on for a long time.
Comics and graphic novels, and I think maybe even a novel.
Probably. And the actors have always said, yeah, we'd love to do it. Yeah, we'd love to do it. So Nathan Fillion is probably at the peak of his career right now, fame-wise.
Yeah, I think so.
Like he just did, Guy Gardner, and then and The Rookie is a huge show on TV. The new season's out right now. It's really good. He's great in it. And so, like, if there's any time ever that he has any pull at all to say, hey, a new show starring me, this might make money, it's now. Yeah. So he does this thing. I think the first one was who was the first one to answer the door? I don't remember.
Pretty sure it was Gina.
It was Gina, yeah. So he's going to all the cast members' houses. It's clearly just shot on his iPhone, knocking on their door, and they open it, and he's like, you ready? And it's like, whoa, something's happening. Something's happening. Firefly Revival. And like every day it was a new one. I think the last one was Alan Tudyk with because that was the big one.
The last one was Alan, because that was the one they held out on, and he shows up and says, I'm not going to do this without you.
Yeah, exactly. Because of course, Firefly ends, they make Serenity, and Alan Tudyk's character Wash dies. So the question then becomes so speculation's going rampant. They're reviving it. Wait, is Serenity canon? Are they just going to say Serenity's not canon because now Alan Tudyk's back? Are they going to do a prequel show? Well, no, because they're all older now, and two, the doctor and his sister were part of the videos, I believe. Right, that they were not their doors were knocked on, so they're part of the cast. Again, as we established earlier in the show, we're horrible with names. So it's like, well, what are they going to do? Okay, revival show. Maybe Serenity's not canon. Let's go. The next day, Nathan Fillion releases a video of him just talking. And basically, they are doing an animated revival show. And they need a company to pick it up. So he's asking, pretty please, everyone like this and show them that we want this. We're doing Firefly. We're back. Summer Gal is and Sean Mayer are the people I'm thinking of. Simon and River. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they're part of the cast. So
yeah, I mean, animated show doesn't everybody's back except for obviously, we lost Ron Glass.
Years back. Yes.
And I was kind of hoping he was going to show up and knock on Mark Shepard's door too. Badger.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
One of the greatest villains of TV antagonists of all time. I would love
one of the Mark Shepard, one of the best sci-fi TV show reoccurring character actors. That would have been so fun if Badger. If they do a Badger will definitely be in it.
Even if he had just ding dong ditched Mark Shepard,
That's funny. No, what you do now is you do Mark Shepard knocking on Nathan Fillion's door, like, hey,
in his bowler hat.
Yeah, exactly. So they're doing an animated revival show, which people have asked for years for a Firefly revival, but of course, Josh Whedon apparently has zero involvement in the show, and actually it goes deeper than that. There were two other writers that wrote the episodes of Josh.
Tim Minear's not back.
Not back. So, okay. It's kind of like, oh, that's exciting. Oh.
Right. And to me, the obvious choice, if we can't have Joss, then why not go after Jed Whedon? Or even Jed and Marissa Tangerine, his wife, who were the showrunners for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're more than capable of doing this.
Of course, Josh Whedon has been canceled. We don't need to get into all that, but he's going to have nothing to do with this. Same thing. That's funny enough. There was a Buffy the Vampire that was working on that had also no involvement from Josh Whedon, and that has Sarah Michelle Gellar made a video. I was like, yeah, it's not happening. Which they actually shot that pilot, I believe.
Yeah.
Or more. They shot more than, because I saw the James Masterson panel at
Fan Expo.
At Fan Expo. Yeah, and he was talking about how they'd done so much work on the show and they were so excited. Apparently, the only thing that they shot though was the pilot, and Hulu decided not to pick it up. So now she's trying to get. She's like, anybody looking to pick it up? That'd be great.
Yeah. But they had a problem. There's also been the stuff that's come out over the last like 48 hours or so of a particular executive, I don't know who it is, that was one of the people in charge of the show that apparently just couldn't stop bragging about how they had never seen the show, didn't know anything about the show, didn't care about the show. Robert Meyer Burnett has shared what was supposedly a final page of a script for the show. If it's real, it sounded like they have people making the show that didn't know the original and didn't care to know it.
Mm.
And that's not a new thing. We've seen that a lot with reboots. That's one of the main reasons these reboots fail, is because you get people that don't care about the original. They want to take that IP and make it theirs. And
they got to put their spin in it.
Now, Tara Butters and Mark Guggenheim, who they've brought on to write this, and I guess they're the showrunners, or they at least wrote the pilot. I think they officially were listing them as the showrunners, which means they're probably not meant to be the long-term writers if it gets picked up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tara Butters just doesn't have a tremendous amount in her bag. She's a little bit of Dollhouse. They worked in some capacity. Both worked in some capacity on Firefly. But I mean, Mark Guggenheim is the guy that destroyed the Arrowverse.
Really?
Hey, this is the guy that took over Arrow after season. Well, this is the one that took over Arrow after season 1.
Oh my gosh.
And kind of destroyed that. He's also, and I'm not going to repeat them here, I can't actually even say it on here without potentially getting flagged, some crack when he was writing Spider-Man comics, some cracks that he made about Mary Jane that are far less than savory.
What was his name again?
Mark Guggenheim. It's M-A-R-C.
Okay. Okay, I got him. Let's see, what Spider-Man comics did he write?
I am going to, while you're looking that up, I'm going to jump on Twitter, because I've got one of those articles pulled up, and I'm just going to drop you an article about one of them on Twitter.
Okay.
But, he's an odd guy, and he's a very polarizing guy. Not that Joss Whedon wasn't.
Right.
But let's be clear here. I've seen a lot of people out there over the last few days trying to claim Firefly. It's like everything else. The political sides want to try to grab it.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is that Joss Whedon, despite being a far leftist, wrote in this what's one of the more like sort of anti-political libertarian shows ever put on TV.
I think that's fair to say. And
it was because in the religious aspects of it, he's not a religious guy at all. But he always said, because people would ask, why did you, have Nathan carry the cross in the first scene of the first episode, and then he kind of puts it away and refuses to have anything. And it was because and why did you write a character like Shepherd Book? And it was because I'm not religious, but I'm intrigued by it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like Joss was willing to write sort of outside of his personal experience with Firefly, and I don't know that others are going to be so willing to do that.
Yeah, that's one of Josh's strengths.
Yeah,
for sure as a writer. I was thinking about this the other day, a little off topic, but there's only been one person in the MCU who got the Hulk right, and it was Josh Whedon, and nobody's gotten it right since.
Yeah,
I desperately miss that because me and my wife love rewatching the first Avengers, second Avengers. Anything Josh Whedon has anything to do with, we put that on. It's just on the TV. Throw it on Disney Plus. Let it go. And God, there are some amazing lines in those movies.
Yeah, there really are.
And in particular, the Hulk has never been done better than by Josh Whedon. But yeah, no, just back to writing. You're right. That's one of his strengths, and I don't see them doing that without him. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I'll give it a shot. If this movie, if this TV show gets made, which is another thing, is it's like, oh, it's not actually even made yet. If it gets made and picked up and put out there, I would definitely give it a shot.
Oh, 100%.
I'd love to give it a try.
100%.
I think an animated way could be a good idea. The question is, when does this take place? Is Serenity not canon? Okay,
no, well,
let's say Serenity.
Yeah, so they're putting it between the movie and the show.
Okay. Did they say that?
And I had, so Nathan didn't say that. I had somebody argue with me about this in the chat when I did my episode on Sunday, because he was like, well, they told you in the promo that it was going to be between. And I said, no, they didn't. And I finally went and found it. And there's some other stuff, I think maybe over on IGN, where they stated it's between the series and the movie.
Okay.
And so I think that's what they're doing there, which I think is good. I think that's a safe place to play with this. Also, the other side of doing an animated, I said this the other day, look, if it's bad, it's way easier to just pretend like an animated show never existed than it is if they went and did live action. I mean, honestly. And somebody pointed out to me in the chat the other day, look, Star Trek, before Star Trek came back as movies, it came back as an animated series.
That's right.
And so this is, it's just make anything. And if it's good and successful, then the sky's the limit.
The sky's the limit. Now, I have looked into these Mark Guggenheim comics, and look, I read a lot of comic books. I don't remember everyone who wrote, I don't remember the author of every book that I read, right? But I start looking, I've read these books. I didn't remember that it was written by him, but I've read a few of these books. The only ones that I've read that he wrote are some really crappy X-Men comics called X-Men Gold.
Okay.
Like real bad. I hate them. So, and then he wrote a bunch of Amazing Spider-Man, back in the day, and is currently, just last year, wrote an Amazing Spider-Man, Wolverine crossover that I have not read. But the only thing that I've read that he wrote that I can remember is these bad X-Men comics. So that doesn't give me much hope. But he's written a lot of freaking Marvel comics, like a ton. I'm scrolling through right now. Yeah. So I'm sure they're not all bad. I'm sure some of them are pretty good if he keeps getting all this work, to be honest with you. But at least based on my experience, not a fan of his writing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're working, the other thing we don't know is, are they working with some stuff that was, some material that was laying around before everything ended? Are they just reworking a script? We know that second season was written. Now, how much of that ended up in the movie?
Nathan cares. We also know Nathan,
and that's to me the biggest part of this is that Nathan cares about this an awful lot.
Yeah. And he probably wouldn't do it without Josh Whedon's blessing.
Also, no, and he said in that promo, he said, first thing I needed Josh's blessing, and I got it.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
And
now, I wish Josh was involved. I'd be a lot more excited.
I do too. I'm regardless of what Josh did, Josh didn't kill somebody. Like, Like at some point, like the man deserves a chance to like work again, right?
Yeah. So I remember whenever this was
one of the greatest, at least in television, storytellers of a generation, and you just don't want him to write anymore.
Yeah, I remember, and I'm looking it up to see, is there anything else that happened that I'm forgetting that's more serious? No. Apparently, I don't mean to downplay anybody's issues that they've had with Josh, but I remember we talked about it when he was making Justice League, and right after Justice League, all the controversy happened. I remember us getting on the podcast, and I was like, did he, like, sexually assault somebody?
No, I mean, so basically, something? Like, everything came from, he's an asshole, and that's not a surprise.
Yeah. Like, everything, the biggest one was actor Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg, was very upset.
Which was basically, oh, he was mean to me.
Yeah. Unprofessional and gross and unacceptable and abusive.
Right. And then the stuff from a bitter ex-wife.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like y'all had some bad marital issues. He cheated on you. He did all these things, but like, I don't know. Like,
Gal Gadot says that he threatened her career by saying that I'll make sure you never work again. He sounds like a real giant jerk. Sounds like a piece of crap.
He sounds like a Hollywood director.
Yeah. I don't necessarily want to have a beer with the guy, but like, no. He's not a criminal.
Right. And that's the thing is like, yes, he's an asshole. And yes, he's written some of the greatest episodes of television out there.
Yeah. And some of my favorite movies of all time too.
Right. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I sometimes the whole Hollywood thing seems to get there, like what's right, what's okay and what's not seems to be situational rather than concrete. And
Buffy the Vampire Slayer has been described as one of the most important feminist TV shows of all time. So like that wasn't good enough to like earn him a little bit of credit from the Hollywood, like people tend to care about that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It was like this perfect storm of a few things that came out and then a few other people, but the people that dogpiled on him, it was like, oh, he was mean to me, or, oh, he hit on such and such on set, or he, threatened my career. And it's like, I mean, the thing is like, I don't have like a big issue with Gal Gadot, but a great actress she is not.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I'm about to be very mean. He has worked with some of the best actors in TV, and none of them had anything to say.
That's the thing is Josh, and I was talking about this the other day, is you have all of these people that surround Josh through all the years of television he's made. You get a writer's strike and Josh says, hey, y'all want to get together and just like make an indie film, and they make Dr. Horrible. And it's like, and all these people turned up to do it. Because, they weren't like, it was just something they got together and did because they couldn't work. And then he decided, I want to make a Much Ado About Nothing. I want to do a Shakespeare movie. And it was a pure indie film. It's all him. It's just his thing. And everybody just turned up to do it for him. And at some point you're like, man, all these people that obviously enjoy working with the man. Like, I feel like there's a disconnect somewhere. And it's like, yeah, I don't have any doubt the man's an asshole. Like, I really don't. I've seen stuff he used to, when he used to post on Twitter, like the guy could be an asshole for sure. But, I don't know that is enough reason to just not have him able to write anymore.
I'd also like to point out, I was saying that apparently the big TV actors, two actresses from Buffy did claim that he created a toxic environment.
Yeah.
But it was Cordelia and Tara claimed that but no details necessarily.
Right. And that was the thing is there was a lot of like, kind of like when Ray Fisher came out with his stuff, it was like a few other people like, oh yeah, he was mean. And it was like,
That was crazy. That was a crazy thing because people are like, support Ray Fisher. We stand with you. And I'm like, what did he do? I'm thinking, did Josh Whedon like call you the N-word or something?
Right.
Like, what happened? And it's like, he was mean. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't. Also, Ray was particularly, and I'm dogging on him. I'm being a jerk, but Ray specifically said he was mad that a lot of Cyborg stuff got cut when Josh came in. And I'm like, well, that's because nobody gives a shit about Cyborg. And he recognized that and needed to make room for, the Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Look, that movie sucks.
It does.
Josh Whedon's version of the movie sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But like having more Cyborg in it was not going to make it any better.
The thing is I don't like either version of that movie. And I think Josh was tasked with was given an almost impossible task in trying to fix a movie that was shot by someone else mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, I don't think it wasn't like, oh yeah, Josh ruined Justice League. And then the Snyderverse came, the Snyder cut came out and it was like, oh yeah, see how bad Josh is. It's like, no, they're kind of both bad.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of bad in different ways, but like they're both bad.
It's kind of interesting. I didn't forget, but I reminded. Oh yeah, he wrote comics too, and wrote some pretty amazing comic books.
Yep.
For Marvel, he hasn't done any of that either. What's he been doing? What's going on? Is there something worse going on that like only people in Hollywood know about? Because like I don't know, Kevin Spacey's still making movies, man.
Yeah.
So what did Josh Whedon do?
I honestly think I would say the fact that Josh hadn't done anything, I think that he just like basically just picked up and went home. Like
I think it's gotta be.
And
right.
I start to get, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, is he just completely done with it and he has no interest in coming back?
Right.
And I think that's a shame too.
Yeah,
but
is.
That's hope, maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, maybe he comes back. Maybe this whole Firefly thing takes off and then they get ready to do something live action and he comes back. Who knows? But whatever it is, like I would assume that some of his staying away at this point is his decision. Because I have a real hard time imagining that he couldn't find something to do.
Right, because like I'm just for example, Woody Allen made a movie not that long ago.
Right.
Made a couple.
There are people working in Hollywood that have done far worse things than we know about anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And
true. Yeah. That's not even
this day and age, like I have a real hard time believing that if he had done some really heinous things, we wouldn't all know about it.
Right. Yeah. Also, like that, you make a good point of like how many people working have done even worse things. If you're trying to like, real talk, if you're trying to like morally object to bad people, you probably should not ever watch a movie ever again. Pretty much. But you can't live that way. So you've got to like accept some things and go on. This is getting out of hand. The point is Josh Whedon is not working on Firefly, and that really lowers my interest level.
It does. It also lowers my expectations. The thing that keeps me excited about it potentially, keeps me at least cautiously optimistic, is Nathan.
Yeah. Which is also really weird that like at this point, Nathan is probably one of the biggest TV actors.
He is. And Nathan's always been one of those guys that's kind of gotten sidelined as a TV actor. And like, I kind of hope that the Superman movie might, show some people like, look, the dude can do just as well on the big screen. Like,
and he's going to be in Lanterns.
Yeah. But I mean, he's a presence on screen, whether it's TV or movies.
Yeah. And just in terms of TV and the TV world, The Rookie is freaking huge.
Absolutely.
As a TV show. It is one of the biggest TV shows. And so it's like when the star of that says, hey, let's do something. I don't know why. It's honest. Even before that, like it's like, dude, people have been saying we will watch a Firefly remake for years. No studio ever bothered to do it.
But that's the other thing when you look at this now, like it's taken all this time to get anything Firefly made, but you look at it and you go, yeah, they were all kind of like they weren't unknowns, but they were more small time actors when this first started, other than Ron Glass, of course. And I mean, when you have a thing where like Adam Baldwin might have been your biggest name other than Ron Glass.
Yeah.
And you take that and you go, look at the star power on, like, watch an episode of Firefly and look at the star power.
Yeah. Like, wasn't, who played the redhead?
That's,
I liked. Was it Bryce Dallas Howard?
No,
Someone who looks like Bryce Dallas Howard, because she's got a bunch of doppelgangers, I think.
Let's see.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, too. It's Saffron.
Yeah. I got it right here.
I'm gonna feel stupid. It's Christina Hendricks.
Right? Yeah, who's now a much bigger actress.
Right. But I mean, even if you look at the main characters, I mean, obviously some of them never blew up, but you've got Morena Baccarin, you got Gina Torres, you got Nathan Fillion, and Alan freaking Tudyk.
Yeah,
like those four have been a staple of entertainment since.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially Morena Baccarin. She's a huge like Hollywood actress now.
She is, but I mean, gosh, she is. But I mean, think about Alan Tudyk and the things he's done since.
Right. I just meant Alan. Yeah, he's huge, but he's like mostly voice acting. I think has been his biggest.
Yeah, he does a lot of voice acting. But I mean, he also had. I mean, Resident Alien's a fantastic show.
True, it is. But Alan Tudyk is just like everybody. He's pretty close to the household name.
Yeah.
And then,
it's like, course, yes, it was voice acting, but also, yes, it was in a Star Wars.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, it was. And even other than that, I mean, actually, it's a lot of voice acting. I'm trying to find what he's done live action stuff too. That was very popular. His face is quite well known. I'm just saying, it is crazy they haven't done this yet. Now, Nathan, I think even in the promo said the reason they're not doing live actions because everyone's too busy.
Well, I mean, obviously you can't do, so a show like, I know Morena Baccarin's on a show too. Gina Torres is usually on something. I'm not sure if she's active right now. And I know that Alan Tudyk they were trying to find a new home for Resident Alien. I don't know where that is. But I mean, a show like The Rookie, that takes six, maybe as much as 9 months out of the year to shoot.
Gina Torres is currently the star of 911.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. So those shows, I mean, they're busy at least 6 months out of the year shooting a show. They're not going to take the other 6 months and shoot another show.
And Nathan Fillion, I mean, he's probably going to be in the next Superman movie as well. And then they're probably working on like a Justice League of America or something like that. That he's going to be wrapped up with. Nathan Fillion's going to be doing The Rookie and then going to film DC, then doing The Rookie, then going to DC for a while. So yeah, that's busy. Gina Torres, 911, another pretty huge show. So Alan Tudyk's always doing something.
Right. So a live action show was never really in the cards unless it was going to be like a 3-episode thing.
Right.
You know, you weren't even going to do 10 episodes or even 8. Like that's 6 months of work. And so that was just really not in the cards. I was hoping for a movie. And that's what I'm still hoping eventually. Maybe this catches on. Maybe this proves to the networks that there's enough of us out here that want it to make another movie happen. I think that's best case scenario right now. But I wanted to ask before we do wrap up. So there's also the issue of the animation studio. Have you looked at their stuff? Are you familiar with its Shadow Machine?
No, Shadow Machine. Let me look that up. I might be familiar.
Well, you're going to be familiar, but I'm not sure it's going to be in a way that you're going to be Oh yes, they're making Firefly. Like, so Shadow Machine is Robot Chicken.
Oh, okay.
They've done a lot of other stuff. Basically, everything that I looked at, I knew a few of their things, but basically everything that I looked at, and granted, I didn't look at it all. They've made a lot of stuff, but everything that I looked at was essentially looked like something on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim.
Yeah, so BoJack Horseman is an amazing show, and I like the animation, but not like it's not an action show.
Right. You know, when they first started talking about this, I was like, I want something that looks like Star Wars Rebels.
That's a great one. I agree. That would be great. You know what else would be great? And maybe I'm just a weeaboo, but anime.
Yeah.
I think an anime style Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, no, I mean that's another great option.
Which they have said, which Joss Whedon was not opposed to saying Cowboy Bebop inspired Firefly in many ways. It's a very similar show.
Yeah.
That would be incredible if you did it like that sort of style.
So and maybe they will. Maybe they'll surprise me. But when I looked through the Animation House's catalog, I went, so we have a CW writer making an animated show that looks like it belongs on Adult Swim. Like that's what I'm really concerned we're getting.
Yeah, I would much prefer my top choice would be like a Star Wars animated style.
Yeah.
Second would be anime, then this, and then I'm just glad they're not going to do. Look, I liked What If. I liked the animation in What If.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that for anything else. Like I liked it for what they did in What If. I would hate to see something like that. But we'll see. You're right. Maybe they'll surprise.
Maybe they'll blow us away. I don't know. But that's, I'm not sold on the writers and I'm not sold on the animation studio.
What if it's stopped?
But I know, the property has a ton of potential. Everybody came back. Nathan's excited about it. Mm-hmm. So, I'm here for it, but if it's bad, I'm going to be real quick to say so.
Yeah. My top choice would just be a movie and just make a movie. That's actually like I've been watching the live action One Piece on Netflix and I'm really enjoying it. But I'm like, why don't we just make a few movies? It doesn't. Why are you adapting this story? Just make a movie about the Straw Hat Crew doing something fun. Because you're adapting a story that is not going to work out because it is such a long story. But by the time you get to the ending of it, these supposed to be teenage actors are going to be in their 60s. So maybe just make some movies. We need to make more movies. Just make some more. Make a Firefly movie. Don't worry about where is it set and what's going on. Just make a movie about a thing that happens, and it's fun and it's great. And we have a good time and it's cool. Because what are we going to do? Continue the story of Firefly? Not if it's taking place between the show and Serenity.
Yeah, I mean, there's room in there for some stuff, but it's limited.
Yeah, it's just going to be some adventures because if it all leads to Serenity, well, we know where it's going.
And I'm honestly fine with that. I think with this, I'm kind of way more down for some like adventure episodes.
Yeah.
Some bottle episodes, things that don't necessarily try to mess with the lore at all.
I would love it if that happened and it's great and there's some show and then we get a movie. It doesn't have to be a go to theaters movie either. Okay. You can put it on streaming. Just a movie that's like them now after Serenity. And of course they all look older. So you do a time skip. And then Alan Tudyk, he could be in that one, but like, I don't know. It's like, no, you can't do flashbacks. They all look old. Alan can't be in that one. Sorry, Alan. You can't be in the movie because you died. But you got to do your favorite thing, which is voice act in an animated show. And now we make a movie with everybody else.
Yeah.
That we fully wrap up the story.
Yeah.
Fully done. Whatever. Taking down the government. Finally answering about. I haven't watched Firefly in a while. Like
I would love to see like what is the fallout of the movie. Like
yeah, because a lot of huge things happened, and I don't know. Do we still have answers? Do we still have questions lingering in the air about about River?
Yeah,
we got. Let's wrap that up, and do a fun movie about that, and let's see. Let's see. Nathan Fillion and Marina's character kiss. God dang it. Let's do that, and that's the movie, and then it's over. That's what I say.
Marisha is in the chat, just as we're trying to wrap up here. Hello, Marisha.
Disney, yeah, just do it exactly. Do a Disney Plus movie.
Yeah,
be great.
100%. It didn't have to be a theatrical release.
And then we're done. And then everyone can shut up. and then we can stop bothering you about it. And Nathan can go be a Green Lantern. And a confusing thing, because in the trailer for Lanterns, Hal Jordan said that he's the only human Green Lantern.
Right.
So what does that mean? But this takes place after Superman, so everybody knows who. Unless the joke's gonna be, Jon Stewart goes, "What about Guy?" And he goes, "Oh, we don't count him." That's a funny joke, but it wasn't in the trailer, so that was weird.
Yeah.
River is an endless well of weirdness. Yeah, do a whole. We need answers.
Yep. Yeah, we do. But so that's I mean, it's coming. I hope. I mean, at this point, we still don't know 100% for sure if we're even getting this animated series. I got a good feeling it's going to happen because, like you were saying, Nathan Fillion is sort of at a peak in his career, and it would be wild for someone to say no to him on making something like this. But
it did seem a little. I'm not trying to be mean. I've been a little mean this podcast. It did seem a little desperate sounding, like Nathan Fillion setting up his iPhone to film himself going like, "Guys, please like this Instagram post." It's like, okay, all right, man. But I get it. I'm not judging. Yeah, there was a Lanterns trailer. It's not. I wouldn't even call it a Green Lantern trailer. There's no green involved. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to like this gritty detective thing, and it's like, why are you doing that with Like, I think actually I don't even hate the idea of it, but like, there are literal gritty detective DC characters you could do.
Right.
You could do this show on, but Lanterns. Also, that's not Hal Jordan. That's not. I love Kyle Chandler. I think he was a great choice for Hal Jordan. That's not Hal Jordan. I am always mean, but that's okay. I got a lot of people who love me that make it okay. Always judging. I am quite judgmental. That's okay. But that's okay. And you get to judge me for it. That's okay. I know you're just joking, but yeah, no, that's not Hal Jordan. That is not Hal Jordan at all. Why does he talk like that? Why does he have like a Midwest accent and he's a freaking jerk? That's not Hal Jordan. By the way, he's not from the Midwest. He's from a city called Coast City. By the way, Hal Jordan should be freaking Tom Cruise in in Top Gun, not whatever that was. I'm not Lanterns. I'm iffy on, but that's a topic for another day.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess that's probably a good time to wrap us up for the night, even though it looks like all of a sudden there's people in the chat. Yeah. Of course, Marisha's the only one talking, but Marisha, you should have jumped in and done some live streaming with us. But David, we need to get together and we need to do. Of course, this went long enough. I think this was actually good enough that I can take this audio and post it to the audio show.
I would.
So that's going to be going up over there, but we gotta get back to doing some regular shows.
Split it in two and make it 2 episodes.
I probably would. Well, I think I could make
for 2 hours.
Right. Well, I think the Firefly part was 45 minutes, so I'll just make that the second episode. Okay. But so that's going to do it for us for tonight. Be sure to hit that like button, the subscribe button. Check out all of our stuff over at the Science Fictionary podcast on our audio shows, Coruscant Radio Underground, where we talk Star Wars. And until next time, may the Force be with you.